Hello, everyone. It is such a pleasure to hook up with my friend Key here today and to talk about how to finish 2025 as strong as possible in this industry and in your pursuit of making a really incredible year out of the past 12 months. Key and I have a couple of highlighted points that we want to speak to, and I'd like to kick it off as we take a look at how to finish as strong as possible. I would like to kick it off with a quote, and it's by Brandon Burchard. And he says, if you leave your growth to randomness, you will always live in the land of mediocrity. And when I think of real estate and November and December, I think most agents, and I think he will probably agree with me on this, they just kind of peter into nothingness. Yet the highly skilled, very driven, high performance type agents, it's quite the opposite. They turn it up in November and December. So we have a couple of points that we're going to hit today that will maybe inspire you or some ideas that you can reflect on to really finish off strong. Because here's what I know: when you finish off strong in a year, you leap into the next year. You don't go dragging your tail. So one of the first points, Key, that I wanted to kick off with is how to avoid this mediocrity. Because if we go into November and December just floating randomly, we're going to give up our prospecting, we're going to give up our follow-up, and we're going to give up overall our relationship building. So this is when we need to crank it up. When all the other agents are planning Christmas parties and such, this is when you have to button down on your schedule. And I highly recommend you take this time to make a schedule for November and December. How many prospecting shifts do you have left? This is usually when I sit down with my coaching clients and we figure out, if we're doing four coaching sessions or four door knocking sessions a week. We've got 8 weeks left. We've got 32 opportunities to prospect, minus a couple for the holidays. So then you make a commitment to yourself that those, let's say, 28 prospecting shifts, you've got them written in your calendar, and come anything, you are totally 100% committed to those. And mostly when I'm talking about prospecting and Key's talking about prospecting, we're not talking about a whole day. We're talking about 1 or 2 hours consolidated where you're going out and actively building relationships. So this is a time to take a step back, make sure that calendar is in place, and make a commitment to yourself. You have to be the most important person to you when it comes to building your business. And so it's all about the strategy you're using and scheduling yourself to make sure that you are stepping into that high performance. So let's say you're going out and you're doing 28 shifts and you're talking to 8 people a day. That's over 100 people that you're going to make contact with that everybody else is not making contact with. How does that make you feel in January, or how does it make you feel in March and April when those are deals, right? If you're not prospecting in November and December, you don't have deals coming in the spring that you consciously, actively went out and mustered up. So I think it's really important to avoid that mediocrity. And I think it's really important your non-negotiables. So if you're meditating in the morning, if you're going to the gym on a regular basis, if you're eating a certain way, I think all of that plays in to consciously making the choice, writing it down on paper. Because when you write something down on paper, it's contract. It's very different than floating around in the nebula of your head. So we write that down, and that is your commitment taking you into the holidays, so that when you take your week or your 2 weeks off, you've owned your November, you've owned your December, and you feel really good about yourself. What do you feel about that, Key?
Well, I like the idea that you're giving them permission to take time off, because we believe in that. You
Oh,
need to
yeah.
take that time off, but not the whole month, not the whole 2 months. There's time for work. There's time for the grind. And it's a muscle. If you don't work that muscle for 3 to 4 months, and you think you can come back to it in March, like you can run into it, you're going to make mistakes. You're not going to be as sharp as you want to be. So you want to continue working that muscle. Now, we do want you to enjoy your family. We do want you to enjoy the holidays. But the holidays does not mean 3 months off. It simply means recentering yourself. And one of the things that you're talking about, how you create your time to be with people, well, this is the time also to work on your CRM. You have a database That database is not just names and phone numbers. They're real human beings. Who are you going to connect with? How are you going to connect with them? Start visualizing 2026 and asking yourself, how do I want to touch these people? Some of them you will touch by email, text, mailers, face to face, pop-bys, events. So start creating that picture, but you can't have a picture for what you were going to do if you don't have a CRM. So clean up your CRM. Spend an hour every 2-3 days to go into your CRM. Who is this person to me? Oh my God, I haven't talked to them in a while. Pick up by the way, if you feel that way, call them. Just right then say, oh my God, I haven't called you in a while. It's on me. You need to reconnect. So working your CRM is part of working your goals. And before you talk about goals, for me, you can't have goals without a proper organization or structure. This is why a CRM matters. This is why the people in it should not be viewed as numbers. They should be viewed as human beings that you want to connect with. And I know you wanted to talk about, when I said CRM, about goals, correct?
Absolutely. I'd like to talk about goals. I love how you said that, suggesting though that every 2 or 3 days you just cocoon yourself and you schedule it. How efficient is that if you've got November and December scheduled and you sit down every third day and you work on that database about building those relationships with those people? It's guaranteed business in 2026. So you're setting yourself up to win. But to set ourselves up to totally win, we have to have goals set. And so many people leave it till the new year to do it, and they're already not feeling good about themselves. Often agents are rolling into January in a funk. And if you don't want to start off your year like that, set your goals in November. And this is going to give you clarity and purpose. And you're going to want to jump out of bed January 1 instead of dragging your butt, because you know what you're shooting for. You have your North Star. And of course, when our goals are set, then we can work backwards and figure out our plan. How many people do I have to talk to? And with goal setting, I just want to highlight, never in my entire coaching time have I ever suggested people just pick a random number out of the air. Oh, 200 grand feels good, or 350,000 feels good. There's no relationship with you and that money. So this is a time that we sit down and we look at all the areas of our lives and we write down, what do I want in my personal life? And what are the experiences I want to create and I want to have? And what is it I need to build my business? And what are my creature comforts costing me? And what holidays, vacations am I going to be taking? Where do I want to go? How much money do I need set aside for that? And so we pre-plan the year with ideas of things we want to experience, and then we put numbers on those, and then we have goals. And here's what I know for a fact, Key, you probably agree with me on this as well. If you're not setting a goal, there's no hope in hell you're going anywhere that you've never been. You're never going to be more comfortable or more in your flow or feeling that high of hitting achievements and in different levels in your business if you haven't set a goal. So it's really important to take the time. And again, you're the most important person to you. And if that is true, you will take the time to cocoon yourself, sit down after you've worked on your CRM, Key. You will sit down and you will make choices about what it is you want in your life. You will put numbers on it. Now your goals are set up and you're eager to jump into 2026 with a bang.
So the thing that you just said is the part that most people forget. Each one of you listening to us right now is an endless possibility. You are not limited. The
Infinite.
only thing that limits you is your limiting beliefs or the things that others have said about you that you believe or you have not given up yet. You are literally, you can create your reality. And this is why I love that you have that course. I love that you have this course called Creating Your Reality. You are not limited by the interpretations of others. And therefore, when you set goals, you're stretching yourself. And guess what? You're stretchable. You can actually stretch. You can go bigger. You can go from algebra to trigonometry to calculus. You can. It's somebody else's belief about you or a belief you believed that tells you, no. You're only capable of adding and subtracting. You can't go beyond. And this is why, for me, also this time of year, as you're working on your goals, there's some reflection. I'm going to give you an easy reflection. It's very simple, easy reflection. You don't have to do a lot. Google yourself. Yeah, audit yourself. Let me explain what I mean. Audit yourself. Each one of us, as we grow older, we change. Our faces change. They become different. And we have to have our hair a certain way. And we have to look a certain way. And then we have to also make sure that the information we're giving the consumer is up to date. So do an audit. Google yourself. Grab all that information. Look at it. Review it. And go, oh my God, I didn't mention that I have this designation. I didn't mention this award. I didn't mention that I did this. I didn't mention that I'm working in a different neighborhood. Auditing yourself is kind of looking at yourself and going, how does the world see me? So it's very simple. Google yourself, use any search engine, use any AI, it doesn't matter what you use. Grab that information and ask yourself this question. Does this information, is it authentic to me? Am I still the same person? If you are, nothing for you to change. If it needs updating, this is the time of year to do it. This is the time and go, maybe I need to set up a good photo shoot, a new one.
Oh my gosh, please update your photos.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't want to say it, but I'm glad you said it. So update your photos. Make your photos look like you today. Yes, I had hair before. I know it's difficult to believe because some of you have seen me for 25 years without. But guess what? I am not that guy when I was 20. I'm a different person. So are you. What makes you special is not what you look like. It's what you are able to do for other people. It's how you serve others. So therefore, do an audit. Is this who I am? Look at your social media. Are these the kind of posts I want to post in the future? Is this my lane? And if it's your lane, lean into it. If it's not your lane, start backing up from it. You don't have to explain anything to anyone, but do that audit so you are authentic. Authenticity is what makes you valuable. Authenticity is what makes you go, I like that person. He's weird, but I want to work with that person. That is authenticity. And when people tell you that, they're giving you actually a compliment. And I know that when we talk about goals, when we talk about auditing, you also have to bring to the table consistency. Am I right?
Oh, 100%. We're going to talk about consistency. Before I jump in there, I just want to say, Key, I would love to see a picture of you 20 years ago.
There's one. Go to social media. It's there. It's there.
Authenticity is.
I uploaded it recently.
The world is craving authenticity and, showing up. I love that idea of taking an audit. Before we jump into consistency, I just want to say this. It's really important also to take a step back and audit your year. It is so valuable. I encourage all of my clients to do this on a weekly basis. Just step back and say, what did I do right? What could I do better? This isn't about being critical of ourselves. If you fall off the wagon, get back on. Give yourself permission. That's really, really important because your time off the wagon will get shorter and shorter and tighter and tighter. And I think high performance agents definitely take that time to review. And from a non-judgmental or critical perspective, just, okay, what do I need to pepper more into my days or my weeks? What do I need to spend more time focusing on? Where could I be a little more polished or a little more practiced? So of course, we want to be doing it weekly, but we definitely want to step back and look at all the major areas in our lives, from our relationships to our business, to our physical health, to our mental health. We want to look at all those categories and ask ourselves, what did I do that I could do a little bit better? And where were my wins? Don't forget to celebrate the wins. I think that is incredibly important, right?
Yeah.
Because we get whatever we focus on. So if we're just focusing on, oh, I'm terrible, or oh, I'm so, I didn't do this right, you're just going to get more of the same. We want to focus on what did work and spend that time auditing, which leads me to consistency. I think I wrote an article about this recently. The people who are winning are consistent. They're consistently doing the non-negotiables. I've got a huge portion of what I teach is just getting up in the morning and getting yourself straight, getting your meditation in, writing your affirmations, putting your hand over your heart and asking yourself what's important to me, like being authentic with yourself. And if we're doing this on a regular basis consistently, Key, you mentioned it today, you own your day. And when you own your day, you feel amazing. And when you feel amazing, you're going to make it easy on yourself. You're going to attract more business, because instead of pouting and feeling terrible, because that too is waving a wand of creation around, you're going to be pulling in ease and flow and grace. So it's really important to be consistent. Prospecting, I'm going to emphasize the agents that go out and prospect consistently, they're not worried about their bills. They're getting paid all year round. And so it may be uncomfortable, but you can do hard things. You can get out there and be consistent with your prospecting. You can be super consistent with your follow-up and building relationships. You can be really consistent going through and combing your database. And like he suggested earlier, setting out a schedule of how you're going to touch all these people in your center of influence. So I just want to really take that word and plant it in your brains for the end of 2025. I don't care what you did up until now, up until November, but let's finish off the next 8 weeks with you being really consistent so that when you jump into January again, you have that flow for yourself. And do you want to add to that, Key?
No. The only thing that I would add is also the awareness that gratitude
Yes.
towards not just the clients who trusted you or the people in your life, especially the people in your life who tolerate you for doing what you do, because it's not an easy career. Being a real estate agent is not an easy career for kids, for husbands and wives. They don't understand it. They don't think you do much, and you do a lot, but it's very hard for them. They can understand somebody going to Walmart and replacing, the tomatoes and, stocking the shelves. They can understand that. But a realtor, they think you just talk to people and you make money, and it's not that at all. It's that of a psychologist, a parent, a doctor sometimes. You have all these roles. So remembering that gratitude from others, we want you to have gratitude from others, but when you actually work gratitude towards the people you already have around you, your circle, your family, friends, and then the people you work with, you end the year with the feeling that you are of consequence. You matter. You create. You make things happen. You're not given anything. Trust me. If you're a real estate, you're not given anything. But at least you have that feeling that I matter. I'm making a difference. I'm pursuing something higher than myself. Yes, we want your bank account to be as full as possible, but we want your heart and your spirit to be lifted, because you lift other people. And sometimes you're not lifted yourself. So gratitude during this time of year, or awareness of it. I know you talk about it a lot in creating your reality. That you start with meditation. That's gratitude to your being. That's for me an important part of existence.
Gratitude also doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It's as simple as sending a beautiful text to the people that you care about. And I love that what you started with the inner core and you work out to your clientele. And when you sit down and you take an afternoon to write those gratitude notes, which kind of turn into love notes, you feel so good about yourself. Again, you're attracting in everything you want, everything you've given your attention to in a positive way. You're pulling that into your center. So gratitude is so, so important. And I just have to say this, keep it simple and schedule the time when you're actually going to sit down and do those gratitude notes for the people that need to hear from you. Yeah, that's beautiful. And I'm just going to highlight, Key offers some incredible sessions to get you organized in 2026 that are going to help you with your consistency and your scheduling and your audits and all of that. So please, if you haven't already, I'd like you to check out what Key has to offer. I think that as mindset trainers, we are so invested in our clients. We want to see you go straight to the moon. And I personally am very grateful for all the people I have the opportunity to work with, including you, Key. I really appreciate your wisdom and your knowledge. And you are consistency to me, and I really appreciate that. So thanks for getting on the call with me today.
Oh, my pleasure. And by the way, same thing. As soon as she announces her upcoming Creating Your Reality, don't miss it. She can only do 1 or 2 or 3 a year. So when she does, don't miss it. But I'm so glad I'm with you, my friend.
Thank you so much, Key. Everybody, have an incredible finish to the end of 2025. Make it strong, feel good about yourself, and really launch into 2026, really feeling focused, centered, and getting paid